So, if you've been anywhere online recently, you have probably seen some seriously strange videos popping up on your feed, right? People acting odd, mysterious figures out in the woods. And it's all led to this one wild theory: skinwalkers. Today, we're going to dive deep and figure out what's really going on behind this viral legend. And it all kind of kicked off with this moment. A woman on an airplane, absolutely panicked, pointing at someone and saying this one unforgettable, chilling line. A line that basically launched a global internet mystery.
That one clip, the one you probably know as the crazy plane lady video, was honestly just the tip of the iceberg. It opened the floodgates for a whole wave of other weird sightings that people immediately started connecting. So let's take a look at the evidence that's been all over social media.
So you've got the original plane incident. But then there's a video of a guy on a totally different flight who looks like he's seen a ghost and literally leaps out of his seat. And then there's a woman just standing, completely frozen, like a statue, on a busy city street. And maybe the creepiest one of all, a figure way out in the woods, letting out this inhuman scream without even flinching. Now you put all these weird, unrelated videos together, and the internet does what the internet does best. It finds a pattern. And the one single theory that seemed to tie all of this together, it came from a very, very old legend.
To really get why so many people jumped to this specific conclusion, we have to log off TikTok for a minute and dig into the actual folklore. So what exactly is a skinwalker? Okay, so the term itself comes from the Navajo, or as they call themselves, the Diné people. In their language, the name is Yi-nald-lo-shi, which literally translates to he who walks on all fours. And according to the legend, a skinwalker is an incredibly powerful and evil witch who has the supernatural ability to shapeshift.
And their abilities? It's the stuff of nightmares. They can supposedly turn into any animal just by wearing its skin. They're masters of mimicry, able to copy any sound, any voice to lure you in. They're said to be superhumanly fast and strong, and can even use a dust made from human bones to paralyze you. It's no joke. They're so feared that even talking about them is a huge taboo, because it's believed that just saying the name can get their attention. So on one hand, you have this absolutely terrifying ancient legend, and on the other, you have a bunch of grainy cell phone videos. But does one really explain the other? Is a powerful being from folklore really the reason for what we're all seeing on our phones? Well, it's time to find out. We are going to go through these viral clips piece by piece and see if this so-called proof actually holds up when you take a closer look. All right, let's start with the big one, the video that started it all. The viral claim is that this woman, Tiffany Gomez, saw a shapeshifter on the plane. But the reality? It looks pretty different. Police body cam footage actually shows her being weirdly calculated, even asking to talk to the media. And the guy she pointed at? Just some regular dude who got questioned. Gomez later released a super polished apology video, and all signs point to a planned publicity stunt, not a supernatural encounter. And this is just a perfect example of how the internet works, right? As soon as the Tiffany Gomez video went absolutely mega viral, other people saw the formula. Suddenly you get other airplane videos, like the guy jumping out of his seat. There were pretty obvious copycat attempts trying to ride that same wave of fame. Now, what about that terrifying scream from the woods? The whole idea is that no normal person could scream that loud without moving their body at all, so it must be a skinwalker. But the real story here isn't in what you see, it's in what you hear. That sound, it's not real. In fact, that single audio clip has been on a wild ride. It actually comes from a horror movie from way back in 1984 called Scream for Help. Then, in 2020, a YouTube channel used it in a fictional video. After that, someone ripped the audio, slapped it over a video of a guy standing in the woods, put it on TikTok, and called it a real skinwalker. And now, that same fake audio is used by tons of creators for their own scary videos. And the other clips? They fall apart just as fast. The woman who's frozen on the street? You know, that's a super easy trick to stage with a friend and a phone from far away. And that other creepy creature some people have posted from the woods? Yeah, that was from an April Fool's ad campaign for a water company in the UK all the way back in 2011. Okay, so the viral videos are pretty clearly hoaxes, but that doesn't explain the legend itself. I mean, if it wasn't a real shapeshifter, where did such a specific and scary story even come from to begin with? Well, there's a pretty fascinating historical theory. This theory suggests the legend has its roots in actual history, during conflicts in the 1860s. So, to scout and move around without being seen, Navajo warriors used this brilliant tactic. They'd wear animal pelts as camouflage. But imagine being an outsider and seeing one of these warriors take off his animal skin after a mission. You wouldn't think clever disguise, you'd think you just saw a man literally turn out of an animal. And just like that, a legend is born from a misunderstanding.
And what's really interesting is that the Navajo people likely saw how much fear this story created. So by letting that myth grow, maybe even encouraging it a little, they gained a huge psychological advantage over their enemies. The legend itself became a weapon.
So, what's the takeaway here? We've seen how a historical legend, born from a clever military tactic, has been hijacked by the internet age. And that kind of brings us to the bigger picture. When you boil it all down, what we're seeing is a deep, culturally important belief being stripped of all its context and turned into modern-day clickbait. These staged videos aren't just silly fakes, they're exploiting genuine folklore just for likes and views. And that really leaves us with one last question to think about. In our world of endless content, where any story can be twisted and spread to millions in seconds, what's the thing we should actually be afraid of? The ancient monster from the legend? Or the modern machine of misinformation that feeds on our belief?